we are bombarded in today's day and age in marketing by a new thing every second on social media. And even in mail, right? Like still we are using marketing techniques of direct mail, but I get a stack this big that I still can't go through. What gifting a practical luxury, as we call it, actually does is this is something that they are using practically in their everyday life. It's not a gift that's going to go sit on a shelf or, God forbid, get thrown away. It's something like a knife that they are using in their heart of the home, in the kitchen, with their family, making memories. And you're exactly right. They're thinking of you who got it for them without your name or your logo even needing to be on it. Always engraving the gift to the recipient, to the family, a scripture, right? Like something like that. If you're gifting them something that is memorable and meaningful, they will remember that moment every time they pick it up.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the 1% Podcast. I'm your host, Vin End.
And I'm Shane.
And today we're joined by my friend, Sara. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Vin. I'm so grateful to be here with you and Shane today. And I have to say, I love how you said my name as a New Jersey girl myself. Sara is the correct way to say it.
Anyone who says it wrong should just, I don't even know what to say. I don't want to be rude. But guys, gals, whoever's listening, today we have an amazing episode for you. Sara is the president, right, Sara? You're now the president. She is now the president of the RuhlinGroup. And we'll get into what that is in a minute. But she is going to talk a lot about what it is to be a phenomenal gift giver. If you're an entrepreneur, how gift giving can truly enhance your business practices, your relationships, and generate a great ROI in the long term, of course. She has a lot of do's and don'ts. We'll also get into a few of my own personal interactions with her company, which, by the way, were phenomenal. So stay tuned for a true review. And most importantly, she is going to help you guys understand how all of this works. There's a whole sequence, a whole process. Gifting is actually a science and a strategy, and she'll break it down step by step for you in today's episode. You're not going to want to miss this, especially if you're an entrepreneur sitting there scratching your head being like, how the hell do I get referrals? How do I keep relationships? This episode's for you. So guys, stick around and let's jump in. All right, so Sara, can you tell us a little bit more about who you are, what you do, and what you're building?
Absolutely. I am honored to be a part of the Giftology group. And for those who don't know what that is, we are more than a corporate gifting company. We are a relationship agency. My story at Giftology starts when I was in college, actually. My college roommate, we were at a seminar about careers, and the lady said, hey, just Google something you're really good at and put the word company behind it. My best friend, hit me and was like, hey, why don't you just put gifting? You're a really good gift giver. And Giftology's SEO was working well that day. Giftology and all things John Ruhlin were the first thing to pop up. And, as they say, the rest is history. Obviously, our organization over the past year and a half has changed tremendously with the passing of John Ruhlin, our co-founder. But we are incredibly, incredibly grateful to continue his legacy in this way. And I'm so grateful to play a small role in that.
So it is interesting, right? Like, who's just good at gifting? Like, how do we determine someone's good at gifting? Now, yeah, Shane, you suck. It's true. There are times where I go and I've gone to people's houses for Christmas and they've gotten something that I'm like, wow. You put zero thought into this, didn't you? Because I hate this. And if you even knew who I was, you'd know I hate this. So can we help those people? What would you say to them? How do we get them better at gifting?
Oh my goodness, there absolutely are good gift givers in the world and bad ones. That's why a portion of our company exists, right? Yeah. So if anyone is listening that is a bad gift giver, self-proclaimed, hands up, like come talk to us, we can help. But truly what I think makes a good gift or a good gift giver is always making it about the recipient. thinking about the inner circle, their family, what they enjoy, and always making the gift about them. But you can take a pretty normal gift, if you will, nothing that needs to be a Lamborghini or a Rolex or anything to that, and make it memorable just in the way that you personalize it and in how you present it to that person. Every single gift that we send comes engraved typically with the family's name and also with a handwritten note. So if anyone is looking for just a small tip on how to become a better gift giver, I would say always make sure that something is personalized to the family and include a nice handwritten note of why you are giving the gift to them.
That's such a all right. It's such an important practical tip that you're giving. So for those of you that are listening, I met Sara. She actually helped me give some gifts to some people I met at a conference, and everybody was blown away. They texted me with the gifts. They loved it. They said, thank you so much. And I mean, they really delivered. They came through. It was all perfectly done. And, you know, it's funny because there was this other time I met this guy who has this company, and they've got some great bags used by NFL players, all this great stuff. I was like, wow, I'd love to actually gift one of these. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just ask him, because he's the CEO and I know him. And so here's what happened when you don't go with a professional gifter. Word of caution to all who are listening. The guy chose the bag, chose the color, and sent it out before I approved any of it. They didn't send a note saying who it was from. I wound up texting I texted my client. I sent it to a client. I texted him almost like 3 weeks to a month later. I was like, question, did you ever get a gift? He's like, yeah, I got a bag in the mail. I was like, oh, do you like it? He's like, that was from you? I was like, yeah. He's like, dude, I didn't know who it came from. I tried calling the company. Nobody was getting back to me. I sent emails. Nobody told me who this bag came from. I was like, what a horrible experience. And I asked him, I said, hey, can you guys write like a little note and just say like, this is for your journey through life. So here's this bag.
Which oh, that's nice. That's right. A good tie-in.
Right. And they didn't. And it was just such an interesting experience seeing the difference between like a professional company like the RuhlinGroup versus like the CEO of a company who I'm trying to send products through couldn't even like get it right. He's like, I hope the bag was good. I thought we selected it. I'm like, no, you did.
Yeah, there absolutely is an art to this and also a science. I mean, that's really what giftology is all about. You need those specific ingredients to actually make sure that the gift lands well and lands strategically from your point of view, then of the fact that they didn't even know who the gift was from. So if this gift was being used to cultivate some sort of prospect relationship, client relationship, all of those things, right? Unfortunately, that could have been money down the drain because that wasn't ultimately tied back to the relationship. But I love the note tie-in that you had there. That really is, that's the art side of things. Absolutely. And you actually reminded me, we just wrote a newsletter a couple weeks ago about if relationship builders, if gift givers are born or made. And I think it is kind of this question of there absolutely is some innate abilities in us that we're relational, right? I think a lot of people can find those strengths in different areas, how they're able to connect with people and they're good listeners and all of those things. But when it comes to doing this at a strategic level in your business, having someone actually handle that for you, whether you're a natural or it's something you need some help on, is the best way to go.
100%.
Want to give a shout out to John Ruhlin and Giftology. For those of you guys who have not read or heard the audiobook, it's phenomenal. It's actually a very easy read and easy listen for audiobooks too. And I want to get a couple of references there to really pin down this question that I'm about to ask and why it's so important and relevant. John talks about high value clients, and since we're called the 1% podcast, we're really geared and focused to entrepreneurs and business owners. And one of them, that a client who has everything, right? Who do you give somebody who has everything? And he found out what type of shirts he has. And he literally went and found out his size of shirt, got a bunch of different varieties of the same shirt, and got it to his hotel room the next day. Like, how is that any, like, that's the most memorable thing you can actually think of. Like, who thinks of that? What type of mindset thinks of some guy wearing, his favorite shirt and gives him variations of that same shirts and then delivers it somehow to the next day at his hotel room? Or somebody who just had a baby and found out that he's a Green Bay Packers fan and, got his baby a onesie and delivered it to his house and made it custom, or a handmade Cutco knife that says, to the Riggs family, my last name is Riggs, to the Riggs family. Every time that you open that up, you're going to think of John Ruhlin of Giftology, or whoever it is that gave it to you. This is the importance of gift giving. And that's really the question that I'm going to tie down is, why is something like a knife, something like a shirt, right? When you think of the basic principles of what we're actually gifting, it's nothing, right? But it's what the passion comes from. It's the memorability, right? So why is it so important to gift in terms of business owners and entrepreneurs something?
Well, Shane, you said it yourself of every time they use this, they pick this up, they put this on, right? They're going to think of you. We are bombarded in today's day and age in marketing by a new thing every second on social media, on the internet, online. And even in mail, right? Like still we are using marketing techniques of direct mail, but I get a stack this big that I still can't go through. What gifting a practical luxury, as we call it, actually does is this is something that they are using practically in their everyday life. It's not a gift that's going to go sit on a shelf or, God forbid, get thrown away. It's something like a knife that they are using in their heart of the home, in the kitchen, with their family, making memories. And you're exactly right. They're thinking of you who got it for them without your name or your logo even needing to be on it. And that's really one of our principles as well. As I mentioned before, always engraving the gift to the recipient, to the family, the Riggs family being on the knife, a scripture, right? Like something like that. You don't need to have your own logo or your own business name on things that you're gifting individuals. If you're gifting them something that is memorable and meaningful, they will remember that moment every time they pick it up. So Shane, those stories that you told, those were some of John's favorites. Gifting his good friend Cameron Harold all those Brooks Brothers clothing and setting his hotel room up like a store. So fun. But those are moments that you can do one-off for those really amazing relationships. Truly, though, the heart of giftology and the science of it is, how can you systematize this to be a practice in your business that doesn't take one person going to Brooks Brothers, doing all of this, right? Like, absolutely, those moments are so memorable and amazing, but there is a way to do this at scale. And gifting is the way that you show up for your relationships meaningfully at scale. You could send 100 relationships a knife, all engraved personally to them with a handwritten note personally to them, knocked out in one sweep, and create one moment of massive impact for your high value clients.
So I had an issue. I was dealing with a phenomenal company that has a very, eclectic and diverse inventory, and all of my customers are completely different, with personalities, with how they are. And I made the decision that based off of longevity, I was going to give them different sizes gifts based on what it was. My fault that I did with my very big, budget that I put towards this gifts is I let them pick the gifts. And this is such a rookie mistake, because they picked golf clubs, they picked a hand massage gun, they picked blenders, they picked massage gift cards, they picked stuff that they wanted to use one time or daily, or something that wasn't going to be memorable. It was something that wasn't going to be asked questions. And then I don't know, I got a bunch of thank yous. Thanks for the gift, but it wasn't memorable. I don't get anything from 3 months. Like, I got a knife from somebody and I used it for Christmas and I sent him a text. I'm not joking. I was like, hey, I'm just thinking of you. I was using the knife and it's still sharp. I got this 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's still sharp.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of you. And that's what pops into my head too, is the continued experience that we're having with giftology. And for somebody who's terrible at gifts, as Vin made it so clearly that I am terrible at gifts, I like having somebody on my side that's saying, Sarah, I met these 20 people, right? And we're talking about business owners here. We're talking about entrepreneurs here. I met these 20 people. I want to get them something nice, something they're going to remember me by. And I imagine you're going to ask me some follow-up questions, and I'm going to have their actual addresses, and we're going to work out something custom and sending it to them, because that's what's going to matter.
Absolutely. And you bring up a great point of, hey, maybe one of the mistakes that a lot of us make in business gifting is allowing the recipient to choose. The whole point of this is, yes, creating a memorable moment that you then are in their heart of the home every single time they cook dinner. Right. But also, I always think about the experience from my point of view in receiving a gift or even a gift card. I lose those things. I now am being given a task by someone that I didn't ask for a task from, to go on a website, to pick out a gift, to enter my address, right? Like, now the surprise and delight that this moment should bring and be attached to your organization has gone out the window, unfortunately. And there are incredible gifting companies out there that include software that allow you to do some of these things, and it sometimes works. But when we're talking about these high value clients, Shane, and creating memorable experiences, we want that gift to land in their home, be chosen by experts, and be used for a lifetime.
Makes sense. I actually have a question for you. And there's still a lot around this, but this is something that I actually encountered, and I'm curious on your take on this. I totally forgot until we started talking about this today. Is one of the people that I sent a gift to. I very much liked him, thought he was a good guy, wanted to build that friendship, because that's one of the whole points of this, right? I send a gift to somebody because I had a good time meeting you, and I'm trying to leave a memorable impression saying I really appreciated you and I'd love to build the relationship. And you know what? And I think he realized it too. He took a photo when he got the gift before he even texted me and said thank you. And he plastered it on his Instagram and said, "This is what it's like to have raving fans." And I was like, wow, what is in this guy's mind, right? I think he later deleted it, he did later delete it. And then he just said, thank you, and tagged me on his Instagram, like, great meeting you. But I'm so curious, how do you, because maybe these are some objections or issues you've hit before, how do you make it so that as you're sending the gift, the intention is super clear? Like, maybe I messed up somehow, or do you think it's just that guy issue and he was in his ego?
I'm going to say maybe that in that scenario, knowing what I know, maybe that then. But what I would say is that setting the intention behind the reason you're gifting first yourself is, we truly always talk to our clients about, we are not giving to get. Now, is there absolutely return involved in what we do? And we call it ROR, return on relationship. Yes. And we see that. We hope that is the case for you. But the reason that you are appreciating all of your clients or appreciating your employees or sending this gift should not be tomorrow that you get some sort of return from that. It's not a Facebook ad. We're not putting $1 in and getting $1.01 out, right? What I will say, though, is past that intention, the way that you set the intention and the reason for sending the gift to the recipient, a couple of things. One, never send a gift right after a transaction, because even if you don't mean it that way and you really are trying to appreciate them for their business, now they're tying that to, I gave them money and it's a tit for tat kind of thing. So any sort of gifting, we do not tie to a transactional moment. And then also, when it comes to the handwritten note, that's really where you're able to express true gratitude and not ask for anything in return. A lot of the gifts that we do see get sent out are then asking for something with the send. Our ask pretty much on every note is, hey, text me when you get this, right? We want to know that they received it. that maybe a conversation can come from this gift, but it's going to be relational and natural, not, hey, if you know someone who's looking for a new website design, if you know someone who's looking for a new roof, let me know, right? Those conversations come because you have created a relationship with that person through the gift.
Sarah, I'm curious here, right? Because I feel like this concept, although it's still hard to grasp, is I just clearly made this, tens of thousands of dollars mistake to my clients, and I wish I would have met you 7 months ago so I could.
You didn't make a mistake. Any gift, it's okay. It's okay.
I made a mistake. So, and I want to point it out because we learned from this, and it's not my mistake was letting them handpick things that were irrelevant that wasn't going to maintain me memorable. That was my mistake, not giving the gifts, right?
Yeah.
So, how I feel like this concept can just stay true till the end of time, right? I don't feel like AI and technology and things like that are really changing, right? If anything, human connection and nature and nurture are actually getting a little bit closer, and getting these gifts unannounced is actually more pleasingly. But are you doing, as the newly announced president of Giftology, are you doing anything different to the change of times, or is it? I'm just curious on evolvement, right? Because this seems like something that you don't need to evolve in, right? The mindset, the concept is very crystal clear. But I'm just curious.
No, that's a great question. And I think something that truthfully we've had to look ourselves in the mirror time and time again with the evolving landscape of business, with all this software and technology and AI, and look ourselves in the mirror and say the work that we are doing is incredibly important because of the values that it's driving in human to human connection.
Yeah.
John and his business partner, Rod, built this business on gratitude, on biblical principles of generosity, right? All of those things. Those are things that are going to stand the test of time in the marketplace. And I would say, Shane, even today, we are seeing a pendulum swing back that in the face of AI, in the face of digital marketing, in the face of influencing, all of these things, people want to get back to the root of business. Businesses have always risen and fallen on relationships, whether it's the people that work for you or the people that are buying from you or the people that are referring you. Relationships aren't going to go away. I think people are kind of having a little bit of a revival in that concept. And that just means for us as a company to lean into that even deeper and be able to help people, again, systematize that and strategize that as a real thing to invest in their business.
So I have a different question that you probably get all the time. My business runs with the company. I am not needed for the company. So what I'm getting at is the few hundred clients that I have, I personally never met.
Right.
How do I establish a relationship without it just seeming, cool, thanks for who are you? You know what I mean? They know the company, they know the people that they're dealing with. So how do I make something like that personable from a company standpoint where they've never seen a face behind?
Well, Shane, what I would encourage and what we've done in the past couple of years and help a lot of, founder-led businesses go to that next step of, I'm not involved in the day-to-day client relations or client delivery of things, but I have a team that is. I would set this up in a way that empowers your team to go deeper with those relationships. So when it comes to gifting, a lot of the times we look at who is the owner, quote unquote, of the relationship. And they're actually going to be the one that sends the gift to that client. So if you had a list of 100 clients and you have 4 sales reps that split those clients up between them, right? We would actually have those gifts signed by the sales rep, by the owner of the relationship. We're still going to send everyone in one big moment of massive impact. It's going to be a gifting campaign with us. It's going to be from your company. But we're really trying to drive relationships to one person that is dealing with them. And I spoke to someone who has just been talking a lot about, funnels and how people develop those, and how now it used to be like landing pages, different funnels, all these things. And now it's really thinking about in your organization, the people that they meet along the way. If we can create relationship with one or two people that they feel connected to within your organization, like that is the goal. That's what increases referrals. That's what increases retention, because people do business with people. People don't do business with a brand.
I feel like that's very well said.
Pause for a second. Shane, I think I'm hearing a little bit of an echo on your side.
Testing.
Sarah, can you speak?
Testing.
Okay. I think it's resolved. I was hearing.
Okay.
All right, cool.
I did hear that one echo.
I did hear like me say a word and it echoed, but am I okay now?
Yeah, it sounds like it's okay.
Okay.
All right. You want to restart it?
Yeah, no, we're probably good to get in.
Okay. Yeah. So Sarah, I felt like that was really well said. I think personally, my success management team, who oversees my clients' campaigns that they deal with on a daily basis, it would be more meaningful coming from them, who they see on a daily basis, compared to somebody that they've never seen before.
Absolutely. And when we're talking to teams like that as well, or training teams, what would be important for a company like yours, Shane, is, hey, you have built this organization on a relational standard that absolutely you can set as the leader. But ultimately, that relational standard needs to continue to be upheld by the rest of your team that's actually talking to clients and potential referral partners and all of the relationships that come with that. So we would want to equip them to make sure that they have the relational skills and systems in place to take care of the people that they're doing business with.
I'm sure you have an onboarding or questions to ask, because it can't be as simplistic as, just a knife that's used universally, right? Because I don't want to send a knife to somebody that doesn't cook, that is single, that doesn't have a wife, or something like that. So I'm assuming there's some sort of questionnaire, like, tell me about this person.
Yeah, great question. And I'll actually push back a little, Shane, and say we still always gift in the heart of the home, no matter what. Because whether that single guy in his bachelor pad cooks or not, he probably is going to reach for a knife to cut his takeout sandwich or whatever it may be. It's probably going to sit on the counter, and we joke, like, if you give someone a block of cutlery, like, that's like a square foot in their house that you now own. So even though that is absolutely an objection we get all the time, and we can be picky sometimes with certain gifts, we do really think that the best winning gift is in the heart of the home. Cutlery, we have beautiful cast iron skillets. And yes, we have things that go beyond that as well. But when it comes to the gift being used again and again and again, that's the place they spend the most time. And if they are maybe someone who is an entertainer, right? Like, now they're having 15 friends over to their home who are all standing around the kitchen asking them where they got that cutting board. And now your name's in a conversation, rather than something you may gift them that goes on their golf bag that maybe they use twice a year when they go on a trip.
I feel like that's a very compelling argument. Yeah.
But I get it. It is something, I mean, I told my story at the beginning of this of how I am very protective over my gift giving in my personal life. And I feel like that's something that sometimes I'm able to flex a creative muscle with gift giving. But when it comes to the actual systematization of this in a business, that's where you get bogged down in trying to think about every single detail about every single person. There's small ways you can show up, right? Like they say, hey, I love the Colts, I love the Giants, all these things. Send them a text when they win, right? Like, those things matter. We call those demonstrations of value. 5-minute favors, a well-known concept, right? But when it comes to gifting, if this is going to be used strategically in your business, we're going to be choosing a gift that typically lives in the heart of the home, fits most of the people on that list, and can be sent at scale.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking of something else, right? So people are big fans of incentivizing through referrals, right? Like, hey, if I get you business or I give you a new client, or you give me one, right? I will send you X amount of dollars or do this for you, whatever the case. And it's so interesting because for me, I've given a lot of referral bonuses. In fact, some people would have never even known that I got some business had I not said, hey, I want to send you money. I want to pay you because something happened, right? And I could have kept it all to myself, but I don't believe in living that way. There are other people where I've connected deals and dots for, and I've never heard anything back from them, never sent anything, never so much as a text, an email. Hey, thank you. Like, to your point, I never expect anything in return, but I'm always very quick to give. Now,
Right.
when you look at referrals and things like that, would it be better for someone like myself, instead of saying, hey, you helped me get a client, here's, I don't know, $1,000, or should I send them a gift? I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, but I'd like to hear you say it.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I'll walk you through what our system is. And we call it, this is about perpetuating the referral partner, right? Like, how do we ultimately set up some sort of way where if someone gives us a referral, we don't want to necessarily incentivize that, but we do want to step into this state of gratitude, that hoping as well, like we want to continue for them to do that again.
Yep.
Our first step, Vin, after someone sends us a referral, is to send a thank you note handwritten. So again, no gift is being tied to it because we don't want that to be a tit for tat relationship. Hey, every time I send you a referral, I get $1,000, or every time I send you a referral, I get a knife, or whatever it is. We just want to say thank you truly for the referral. Now, if that referral closes or if it doesn't, that's when business leaders have some flexibility in actually going back to that referral partner and gifting them with the percentage of net profit that they received from that deal. So now you're really having a systematic approach to reinvesting in your relationships. But I think the key to this system that you bring up, Vin, is like sometimes people don't ever say thank you. Or even if they say thank you for the referral and you sent someone their way, you then don't know what happened after that. Did they sign on as a client? Did you guys even have a meeting? Did you connect over email, right? Like sometimes that gets lost in translation, and that's really important to us. We call it reporting positive progress. If someone sends a referral your way, continuing to keep that referrer in the loop as that potential client moves through your funnel, moves through your pipeline, is really, really important. If I send a friend to my hairdresser, right? Like I want my hairdresser to let me know, A, she booked an appointment, B, she loved it. Like I want to know those things, not only from my friend, but from my hairdresser as well. And that's a simple example, but something that any size business can implement in their sales funnel and can sometimes be automated. So our system is really send that handwritten thank you note, get that out the door, report positive progress along the way. And then if fitting, you can send a gift, not saying anything about the referral, but purely appreciating that person as a referral partner of yours.
Right.
Sarah, how about we've accomplished the initial step. I've sent these gifts out to networking. We've made the connection. I've sent them out. Then what? Is that it? One and done? 3-month follow-up, 6-month follow-up, 12-month follow-up. They love it. I get the occasional text, right? They're still not big clients of mine yet. I've been trying to achieve it. Whatever the end goal is, I know that it's a gift to give, right?
Yeah.
But there's got to be a follow-up process here, right? If with the end goal of business to business,
right?
And I think that's where Vin is really alluding to here, right? No, I understand the concept of gift giving, right? To not see anything in return, but as giftology really makes it centric towards, being memorable, right? From a business standpoint, what's the follow-up game?
Yeah, absolutely. This is where our kind of whole relationship operating system comes into play. And truly, out of the 6 things there, gifting is one of the pieces. Gifting is the way that you're able to scale, right? Like you're able to touch a lot of these relationships at once in a really meaningful way. But there's a lot of other things along the way to convert a relationship into either a client or convert them into a partner that is actually actively referring you, because someone could say they're going to refer you all day, but until they do, and they do consistently, are they truly a partner? So that's what we're always trying to energize relationships to do so. What our kind of rule of thumb is there, Shane, is you really don't need to be sending more than 2 to 3 gifts a year. Now, we have had some campaigns that we've done for clients with a few really high value relationships. We're actually sending a gift each month that results in something big at the end of the year. So take a knife set. We send individually a knife every month. And then in December, or the last month of that campaign, they receive the full knife block that sits on their counter to put all of the knives in. And that is something that we do, but typically 2 to 3 gifts a year. And then in those other seasons, we're really looking for meaningful ways to demonstrate value. That's those small handwritten notes. That's asking the extra question of, hey, we just had a conversation and you mentioned your daughter's homesick from school today. Like, that's a perfect opportunity for me to send soup, right? All of those little things compound over time. Now, having the actual conversation and transitioning the conversation to business definitely takes some feel of when is the right time. But I would say more often than not, these individuals that you are gifting, that you are building relationship with, are likely going to say, hey, let's hop on a call. Let's connect. What can I do for you? And my biggest piece of advice is always have an answer. I tell a story all the time that I was very grateful to be connected to an executive at Airbnb. I gifted him after he gave me some mentorship advice. And immediately when the gift landed, he picked up the phone and said, who do you need to meet? Why? What can I do for you? I did not have an answer. And Shane, I actually relied back on our principles of, no, I just wanted to send a gift. I just wanted to appreciate you, right? But the law of reciprocity is real. Yep. Sure, there are people that maybe don't flex that muscle as much as they should. But I think you will see the return come naturally from people engaging in conversation after you do some of these demonstrations of value.
Yeah, and I think that's where this big, especially our demographic, our followers, 95% men is our audience here, mostly entrepreneurs, business owners, established here. While the concept is very clear and understanding, it's more of going to networking events, shaking a bunch of hands, trying to establish some sort of rapport and connection, more importantly, getting them on the phone, on the call, into that in-person meeting. And I think that's the hardest part. But I think it's what you said before. You don't have a relationship, trying to get some sort of something personal where you can have an answer for them or follow-up questions for them. I think that's the main concept here. I'm very excited to test this out the right way, especially now that it's 2026. And then I really wanted to make this takeaway here that you're not sending gifts for anything like you just had a completed sale, they just did something nice for you. It's the holidays. It's something completely random that is unexpected that they get to see and say, wow.
Surprise and delight, always.
There you go.
That's a good tagline.
I love it. So, Sarah, we are coming up on the last few minutes here, so I got to ask you a few final questions. One of them being, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Ooh, I'll go back. Yeah, that is. And I think my answer to that has changed in the past year and a half as well. A Bible verse that John would always reference, Acts 20:35, is, it is more blessed to give than to receive. And while maybe that's not advice from someone, it absolutely is advice from a God that I believe in. And I truly believe that if we live that way, if we act that way in our businesses, that good things will happen. I feel the goodness of that each day in the work that I'm able to do of giving. I think a lot of people can agree that giving feels good to our souls as well. It is more blessed to give than to receive. And I think everything works out the way it should when we're able to do that for others.
I love it. I love it. All right. Another question for you. So I'm curious. We here have the 1% podcast. That is the name of our show. The reason being is that we believe being a 1% is a way of life. It's not necessarily about being a billionaire. I have an idea, but what would you say is your version of living a 1% type of life?
Take care of people, be relational first. I was talking to one of my colleagues of there's so much noise nowadays of being in the right room, which is important, right? Surround yourself with people that you want to be like, aspire to, have shared values. But also like invest in the right people yourself. If you want to be a 1%er, if you are a 1%er, then act like one yourself in the way that you give, in the way that you invest in others. I think it's easy to sometimes go to networking events and have a little bit of an internal agenda of I need to meet these people, I need to be in these rooms, I need to do these things. But I would just challenge your audience to look at that through a new lens of what can I do in this room to give to these individuals? How can I be the most relational that I can be? And that goes hand in hand with, yes, you want to talk about your product and services and your business and all of the things, but those things will come with the relational step first.
I love it. And then most importantly, how can people get connected to you guys, to you? How can they utilize your service? What can people do to be a part of the Giftology experience?
Absolutely. I would love to connect with anyone listening that has questions, comments, thoughts about how they can do this in their business on LinkedIn. So you can find me there, Sara Hardwick Grintz. But if you want to even go beyond just gifting and really understand the relationship principles that Giftology is based on, giftologygroup.com/beyond giftology will bring you to a page of a whole slew of resources that are available that you, your business, your team can access to start thinking more strategically about your relationships and your referral systems.
I love it. Well, there you have it, folks. Another phenomenal episode, if I do say so myself, of the 1% podcast with our awesome guest here, Sara of Giftology. Sara, thank you so much for joining us, sharing your wisdom. Hopefully this helps some people become better gift givers and gave some entrepreneurs out there some great thoughts on how they can continue to grow their ROR to increase their ROI. Boom. I really like that one.
That's good, Ben.
You wrote that down.
Bro, yes. Thank you so much for being here, Sara. I appreciate it. And stick around for a minute after the show. We got another thing or two to talk about, okay?
Thank y'all.
Of course. Well, guys, please like, follow, share, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you thought of the episode. Go check out Sara's stuff. Go check out Giftology. And we'll see you on another episode of the 1% podcast. As always, I'm your host, Vin End.
And I'm Shane.
And that was Sara. See you, everybody.
Bye, guys.